Welcome to the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast, a podcast dedicated to the profession of pharmacy. Today, we're excited to turn over the podcast to the students from the St. Louis College of Pharmacy at the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis. We give credit to Professors Stephanie Lucas and Terry Wahalik for mentoring these students for their leadership podcasts. Let me remind everyone that the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast is available for streaming on your favorite podcast streaming app, whether it be Apple, Podbean, Spotify, or YouTube. The comments and opinions shared today are those of the hosts and our guests and are not official statements of the Missouri Pharmacy Association, Mitchell Pharmacy, Mercy, nor the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in St. Louis. Today, we welcome 4 students from the University of Pharmacy with their podcast entitled The Path to PharmD. Set yourselves up for success in high school and undergrad.
All right, guys, welcome to the Dose of Knowledge podcast. I am one of your hosts today. My name is Clark Sassett. I'm Brock Lines.
I'm Gerald, aka G Money.
I'm Bonnie Fuller.
All right, and our podcast name individually is the RX Playbook, and our episode today is going to be covering the path to the PharmD. So that's everything from how to apply, how to set yourself up for success in both high school and undergrad, and just talking about our experiences in pharmacy school today and what helped us get us here and what helps us succeed today. So just so you know a little bit more about us, we're going to give a little bit of our backgrounds individually. So Brock, do you want to kick us off and tell you?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So basically, I'm Brock Lines once again. I did my undergrad at Lindenwood University in St. Charles. I got my bachelor's in exercise science with minor in chemistry, and now I'm a current P2 in the pharmacy program at STL or University of Health Science and Pharmacy. And I'm going to hand it off to my associate Bonner to give himself.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Fuller. I'm a P1 student here at the college, St. Louis College of Pharmacy at UHSP.
All right, thanks, Bonnie. G Money.
I'm Gerald, currently a P2, and I did 1 year of research at my college.
All right, and lastly, my name's Clark Sassett. I'm from, and I went to SIUE prior to coming here for 4 years. I got my bachelor degree in chemistry. I got to engage in 3 years of research, which I absolutely loved. And that ultimately led me here to St. Louis College of Pharmacy. And now I'm here as a P2 student making this awesome podcast, trying to help out undergrads, high school students that are interested in pharmacy or think that may be the path for them with my peers here. And we're going to help you guys, guide you on that path and give you some pointers on what we think is going to help you out. So a little overview of what we're going to talk about today. Like I said, this is the path to the PharmD. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about something called PharmCast, how to apply to pharmacy school. PharmCast is going to be your center online database to apply to pharmacy school. Then we're going to talk about how to set yourself up for success in high school, which is going to be a lot. And then additionally, we're going to talk about what to set yourself up for success in undergrad, which is even more important. So that's our overview for today. So I'm excited to get started with you guys.
Oh, yes. Yep.
All right. So the first section that we are going to be talking about today is how to apply to pharmacy school. So Brock, let me ask you, how do you apply to pharmacy school?
The main way to apply to pharmacy school is going into PharmCast. PharmCast is the application software database that's used for all pharmacy schools.
Okay, so this is used for every school in the country.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, so everybody's going to have to do this regardless of where you go to pharmacy school.
There are 4 sections to PharmCast. It's personal information, academic history, supporting information, and program-specific material. We're going to touch base about each of these very quickly. So with personal information, it's just the general snapshots of who you are, what's your race, gender, where you work at, all the things you do to apply to a regular basis job. Then academic history is a little kind of difficult. In academic history, you put in all the grades from your transcript and all your curriculum. There's actually a funny story that Clark here actually had with academic history.
Yeah, so how it works is that you have to manually type in all your classes, the course codes, your grade, everything in every class you've ever taken in undergraduate schooling. So for me, I actually typed it all in and did it all. I think I did it pretty well too. And basically, you can also pay for it to be done professionally. And after I had done it all by myself, I paid for it anyway. So I didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway. But that's okay. For whether you pay for it or not, it's totally up to you. It's more of like a convenience type thing. If you don't want to take the time to put it in yourself, you can absolutely pay for it to be done professionally.
100% recommend doing that, by the way.
Yeah,
It saves you a lot of time.
yeah, it does save you a lot of time, but if you don't want to pay for it, that is totally okay too. And it is absolutely easy to do. It just will take you a lot of time to find out all your past course information. So make sure that you're allocating enough time for that. The next section we're going to go through is the supporting information. In my opinion, this is the most important section because this is primarily your letters of recommendation and your personal statement. These are two things that are very, very important because they show who you are as a person, not only from other people's perspectives, but from your own perspective. The letters of recommendation we'll touch on a little bit more, as well as the personal statement. But the letters of recommendation are really important to show that other people can advocate for who you are, not just advocating for yourself. Being able to show that multiple people can talk favorably about you is very important. It looks great on a pharmacy school application, and it helps build connections throughout undergrad.
So for the personal statement here, real quick, just save it as you go. Just save it as you work on it. I deleted mine when I was working on it and I had to restart. So save as you go is my advice.
All right. Yeah. And the personal statement is really important because, like I said, you have to advocate for yourself. So this tells your story about why you chose pharmacy, why you think you're going to be great in pharmacy school, and what qualifies you to be a pharmacy school applicant. So really being able to talk highly about yourself and know who you are as a person is very important. And we'll get a lot more into defining yourself as a person and finding yourself throughout your years in school.
Thank you. Our last topic is program specific material, which is just prerequisites, additional essays or resumes based on what pharmacy schools you apply to. So every pharmacy school may or may not have the same amount of curriculum required to get in. So it's always good to like look at X amount of pharmacy schools you want to apply to and compare what you have to do to get into each pharmacy school.
Yeah, so just making sure that you are meeting all those requirements for each school is very important. So overall, PharmCast can be very intimidating, but everybody has to do it. Every pharmacy school requires it. So we hope that, getting a little bit of a guideline here will help you out in the future. And also we will be linking the website down below, and there's tons of great resources to help you out as well. All right, guys, welcome back. So this is our third topic we're going to talk about now. This is getting into the more nitty gritty stuff, and this is how to set yourself up for success in high school. This can be kind of difficult as compared to undergrad, but again, we'll get to the undergrad next. But these are going to be things that helped us along the way, things that we think that high school students out there, yes, we're talking to you, high school students, that are really going to help you prepare for pharmacy school and help you succeed in pharmacy school. This is going to be the activities, any courses, any extracurricular activities, and these are just going to be those things that we really need you to listen to and try and take our word for it, because we're here and we're going to try to help you guys out. So first thing we're going to talk about is the courses. So any AP courses, college credit courses, and National Honor Society. We think those are the most accessible because most high schools will offer these things. So we'll start with talking about that first. I actually myself took college credit courses, and that helped me abundantly in undergrad because that took the course load off me while I was actually in undergrad. So moving into that, Anna, why don't you talk to us about the AP courses you took in high school?
Yeah, thank you, Clark. So yeah, I've had some experiences with some AP classes. I took AP Bio, AP English, Literature and Composition, Spanish 4 and 3. All these courses that I've taken helped me just gauge an idea of what a college schedule and what a college workload is going to be. And it ultimately just really propelled me for success, Connecting with my professors in these courses helped me learn how I can structure my schedule on a day-to-day basis. My colleague on the other side, Gerald, has some ideas of his experiences with college classes,
Right. Thank you, Bond. So I know in my personal experience, taking classes like AP Chemistry and AP Biology, they will help you immensely in the pharmacy school. I know AP Chemistry helped me a lot. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to take AP Biology in high school. So learn from my mistake and take that would help you throughout the whole pharmacy school process.
Hey, if that helps, Cheryl, I didn't take any AP courses. Like I said, I know I took college credit courses, but I never took the AP courses anyway. So it's okay.
Yeah. And I also have some advice here. It's not about like the amount of AP courses you take. It's about the quality of what you're actually getting out of these AP courses. That's our emphasis of what these AP classes, they should just be a guide on like how you should plan out your college schedule.
This is going to help you prep for pharmacy school and undergrad because they're more difficult than your typical high school courses. So did you want to touch on National Honor Society as well?
Yeah, so National Honor Society was a really great organization from top to bottom. The way it was structured, we spent a lot of time in the community and volunteering work, and this alone has helped me tremendously in my college experience because from a young age in high school, it helped me learn how to interact with other professionals, how to interact with my colleagues, how to interact with people outside the community and around my community and just community members. And so that overall, just on the communication aspect, that carried me tremendously into college. And the volunteering work that we did just helped me propel my community. I'm just so thankful for it. So if you can get into National Honor Society.
And for those who don't know what National Honor Society is, it's basically a very prestigious kind of club, but it's basically a group you can get into by having a very high GPA and doing very well in school. So we can't emphasize enough is that don't blow off classes in high school. It can be tempting, especially with sports and things like that. But just really try and focus on school. And have fun along the way too, though. You got to be able to balance it, and that's going to help you tremendously down the road. So our next topic, Brock, why don't you kick us off?
Sports or extracurricular activities that are presented to the majority of the population. So such as like football, track, wrestling, or like band or theater for like an overarching view. I did track, football, and wrestling as my main go-tos. I know my other peers here on this podcast did other sports such as Clark. What sports did you do?
Yeah, so I did ice hockey, soccer, and tennis. So yeah, I did a bunch of sports too. Gerald, what about you?
Oh, I mainly focused on basketball and track and field.
I think Brock wanted to talk about just how like it just helps with personal development, helps you interact with people, with teammates. So
basically, like doing a sports or band or theater. I actually did band when I was in middle school too. Funny point, but like honestly, like meeting different people, talking, interacting with how you want to work as a team is like a very good composite to like working yourself up to go to pharmacy school or being anywhere else, honestly, because it's just a personal level of communication. It's just a basic thing everybody should really have practice doing, quite personally. And honestly, any other curricular activity is perfect just as well. There's not one size that fits all for like extracurricular activities. It's just getting involved, doing something that you enjoy actually doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Brock said, like I just want to reiterate, like get involved, like build yourself as a person and work on communication with other people. Like if you get out of that shell where you don't feel like talking to people, that will help you tremendously in both undergrad and pharmacy school. Really building that skill set is going to be very important. So we can't emphasize that enough, is get involved in anything you can. It doesn't have to be relative to pharmacy school. Banu, did you do any sports by chance?
I did chess club. Does that count? Clark, I don't know how y'all feel about that.
We can count that, but that does, because it's also kind of a club. That kind of goes into our next category of topics, which is the clubs. So we'll hit on this really quick. And these are the things that I think are the least successful because I personally didn't have any exposure to any of these clubs that we're about to talk about. I'm going to school over in Illinois, but my colleagues here are going to talk to you about a couple of clubs that are more kind of relative to pharmacy and professionalism. So if you have the opportunity, we definitely think you should pursue these as well. So Bonnie, why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Clark. I'm going to talk about Project Lead the Way right now. Project Lead the Way is a national organization that has 3 different branches: engineering, healthcare, and computer science. And I chose the healthcare aspect because it exposed me to different labs, different disease states, and different careers into the healthcare field in which I wasn't really interested in at the time.
And how did that benefit you for pharmacy school?
Oh, it helped me a lot because it just gave me the background for the labs and the coursework that I would be doing in my college courses.
Ooh, since we're talking about clubs, I don't know if you remember about Banu. There's something called HOSA, Health Occupation Students in America. I got involved in a lot of leadership opportunities, and I remember I was exposed to a variety of
I mean, we're recording this podcast for a leadership class, so it doesn't go away. That's something you definitely need to keep building on it. And the younger you start, like in high school, the better. So Brock, what about you?
I was actually introduced into a summer program. It's called BEST. Basically, the school that we're currently at, St. Louis College of Pharmacy, did a partnership with Barnes Jewish Hospital, and they help young students provide like that background, like we've all been talking about, like how to get into healthcare, what based knowledge and all that. And I think it really propelled me forward, and it really helped me with like trying to figure out what I want to do in healthcare per se.
No, that's awesome. I know you guys talk about that program quite a bit, so that's really cool. Okay, one last question, one last kind of closing statements for the high schoolers listening. If you had to give one piece of advice, just one, to any of the high schoolers that are listening of what to do to help them succeed in pharmacy school, what would it be and why? Banu, let's start with you.
So my advice that I got was from two different professors, but they gave me the overall same message, which is stop slacking off and to change my mentality. And that changed my success into college. That's the greatest advice I've ever gotten.
The biggest thing is I wish I would have connected with more teachers who are involved in the healthcare field and, other healthcare professionals.
Okay, that's a pretty good piece of advice. Honestly, it's kind of the same. It's just go out, do something different that you've never done before, and see how you experience that. That is like how you can tell where to go and what you want to do.
It's like what we learned in this class, being a leader is uncomfortable. So get out of your comfort zone.
For me, I'm just going to keep preaching to the choir here. I think the big thing is just getting involved. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be related to pharmacy or even school. It just get involved and find yourself as a person. That's going to be a big theme of this podcast is just find yourself as a person and make yourself a more outgoing person. So that's going to wrap up this segment of the show. We have one more section to go. Let's go, guys.
Welcome back, guys. Now we're going to get into the student perspective section on how to set yourself up for success in your undergraduate studies.
Yeah. So, first of all, there's a lot of different ways in undergrad to get into pharmacy school. All four of us guys have completely different backgrounds. So one of us went into a 6-year program directly from high school that basically gets you after 6 years your PharmD degree. Another one did a 7-year degree where you get a bachelor's degree and a PharmD. And then two of us actually went to completely different universities and got a bachelor's pharmacy school and transferred in. So it doesn't really matter what your background is. It's just about having the concrete knowledge and the foundational information to get into pharmacy school. So we're going to walk you through. We put through a little kind of guide of what we think is the most important things to focus on while in undergrad to set yourself up for success in pharmacy school once you are there. So the first thing we always say, once you're in undergrad, talk to your advisor. Write down or lay out all of your personal goals, your academic goals, and just what you want to do with your life. If you do that, your advisor is going to be able to set you up with a major if need be. If you directly want to go into pharmacy, you already know that. Just they will set you up with the courses, specifically the heavy sciences and the math, set yourself up for success in pharmacy school. So making sure that you have that meeting with them and talk to them about those things is very, very important.
Yeah, then no, very good standpoint, honestly. Another way to get like involved and like to set yourself up is doing activities at your school, at your undergrad, like playing sports. I played sports that really set me up. They look for things like that, or you can do like research or other things within the school. Your institution has a lot of opportunities. It's just your job to take those opportunities how you need them to be used.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did 3 years of research at my university that I was at, and it immensely helped me. And it also helped me because my research professor ended up writing one of my letters of recommendation, and it made me look really good. So building those connections, again, we hit on this a lot in the high school section, but just building the network around you, building the people around you overall, and just being able to speak highly about yourself and others speak highly about yourself is very, very, very important in undergrad and high school. Also, another thing you can do that's very important is you can also do this in high school if necessary, but you can also get a job in a pharmacy as a technician. This will be a great opportunity to expose yourself to pharmacy prior. And Banu here actually did have a job in a community pharmacy while in undergrad.
Yeah, I worked on the retail side of retail community pharmacy, and pretty much it was a really good experience. I got to connect to my pharmacist, and it just helped me see how a pharmacy in a community setting works.
Yeah, absolutely. So this can really help you, and it's just something that it doesn't really matter what you do. It's about more involvement and just overall getting more exposure to pharmacy and the heavy sciences overall. So the big takeaway is that there is not a one-way fits all method while you're in undergrad. All right, so that's it for the student perspective. But luckily for us, we did get to interview two of our colleagues at St. Louis College of Pharmacy who are heavily involved in the admissions process. The first is Jamel Chambers. He is a senior admissions representative at the College of Pharmacy. And the next is Dr. Justine Guyton, who is one of our pharmacy practice professors and currently is practicing in ambulatory care at the St. Louis County Department of Public Health. So we asked them a couple questions. The first one was specifically for Jamel, and it was simply just, what do you look for in a pharmacy school applicant? And this is how he answered.
I look for the intangibles. Everybody and their mother is going to put the fact-based information. Me growing up with applications that I had to fill out for school, jobs, whatever it may be, it does not tell a story. So I look for the intangible in between the lines of the black and white. I don't care so much about the GPA. It tells part of the story. But if I look through their resume of their application as far as their grades and things like that, I actually read the essays because I want to know who the person is. Once I know who the person is, then I'm able to speak on their behalf. So that's really what I look for, is more so what I can find in an essay, what they've done on the side for us, if they shadow individuals, things of that nature, what they're really interested in.
That answer really resonated with what we're trying to talk about in this whole entire podcast. I believe like personal development is a key part and where we're trying to go.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. So hopefully that kind of stood in line with what we've been saying. So the next question we asked Jamel and Dr. Guyton both, and it's, what stands out to you the most in an application?
A lot of people will say the GPA. Yes, that's the first thing popped into your mind, but the GPA doesn't tell if the person can really apply themselves in this aspect, because I would say that pharmacy is more application than memorization.
Mm-hmm.
Our traditional educational system is more memorization in the undergraduate field. So if anything, I look to try to see their letters of recommendations to a certain extent to see what their work ethic is, the professionalism, how well they represent themselves. Because the number one person you have to impress is yourself first. So if I'm looking for anything, I'm looking to see what other people will say about them before they even know who I am.
And now here's Dr. Guyton's answer.
I think we were kind of ahead of the curve, and several years ago changed our policies and procedures to be from the very scripted, like, do you have these checkbox items, to what we call a holistic admissions policy, where we say and we force ourselves, and we do look at a whole candidate's kind of packet. So yes, there's some specific recommendations in terms of like objective cut points, in terms of GPA recommendations for getting into the school. We don't have the PCAT requirement anymore, but that used to be like a thing that people kind of look for and know about. But really on our checklist is looking at the candidate full picture. So we're getting letters of recommendation now to kind of hear more about people who see you day to day, how your skills are. We're asking for you to write kind of a paragraph about what your interest in pharmacy is, what your goals are. We're looking for healthcare experiences, research experiences, leadership experiences. Are you the first generation college student? Are you long history of pharmacists in your family? Like, we have a whole list of those things. In addition to those criteria that we kind of talked about in the interview, we're kind of looking for your team working skills, your leadership, creativity, and innovative thinking. And we have like this ginormous kind of grid of characteristics that we're trying to evaluate.
Yeah, so again, both excellent answers. And I think Jamel's answer kind of fell in line with the same topic we've been talking about, is that you need to be able to advocate for yourself, but also the people around you, you have to be making impressions on to where they can speak favorably about you. So again, just more communication, more leadership really is the key here.
Fair enough. With Dr. Guyton's response, it is once again in line with everything we're saying. Personal development, as well as like being involved in doing different things. As you see from we've been all talking, we've all done something different to get to the same spot. And I think that is a very, very key point to all of this.
Yeah, like Gerald specifically talked about leadership. Bonu specifically talked about working in a pharmacy. Brock talks a lot about leadership and getting involved. And I talked about the research. So Dr. Guyton hit all of those points very well. So I think that emphasizes the fact that, these things are very important. And then our last question that we got the honor of asking these two individuals was, if you could give a pharmacy school applicant, whether a high schooler or an undergraduate student, one piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Lay it all out. Don't hide anything. Bury yourself. I hate to say bury your soul, but put your passion in what you're about to do. The things that matter the most is going to be how personable you can be. I'll give you an example. If I go through 150 applications, what is going to make you memorable and personable that makes them stand out?
And then here's Dr. Guyton's last answer.
I do think it's helpful if students are able to have any experiences in the pharmacy or healthcare world. I think obviously even like going to the program, like you learn so much more and you get to see so many different types of pharmacy. But if you have any exposure to that before coming into the curriculum, I think you solidify your interest. I can see the big picture of what you're learning, like what you're moving toward. So like maybe not like scripted. I think like a genuine like interest. So like I'm thinking about pharmacy and healthcare in general. Like it's more than just being good at math and science. It's more than just having experience in a healthcare setting. Like you really have to have the passion and desire to like want to do this, to help people, to learn the content. It's like kind of like big picture, that grit and that passion to like care about your job, want to do well, and know that means staying up to date or learning new skills, learning different ways to approach patients.
Yeah, so two more great answers. Both of them kind of centered around having that grit, having that passion, working towards pharmacy. You know, teaching yourself that earlier, the better you will do in pharmacy school. So having them kind of reinforce these answers that we've already been talking about was really beneficial. Brock, do you want to add anything?
Just the fact that like you got to be yourself, let people know who you are, and be passionate about what you're trying to achieve. That is like main step to how you're gonna get here, and that we're all testaments to that.
Again, I just want to extend my thanks to Jamel and Dr. Guyton both for your time and consideration in doing this podcast with us. We really, really appreciate you doing that, and we really think that your answers will benefit the listeners of this podcast, especially the high schoolers and undergraduate students who are considering pharmacy school. So again, thank you guys so much. All right, and that is it. That is everything that we wanted to get through today. We hope that you guys enjoyed the podcast. We have a couple big pointers that we want to make at the end to make sure you guys, if you took away anything from this podcast, this is what you guys should be taking away. The first point today is going to be
Podcast is time consuming. It can be hard to navigate. It can be really annoying on you, but at the end of the day, you can do it.
Number two.
In high school, just to really get involved. It can be sports or whatever, okay? It doesn't have to be pharmacy related at all. Your goal in high school is just to grow as a person. I cannot stress that enough.
Absolutely. And number three.
Number three, to piggyback, just grow as a person. Develop your skills, your personal set, your ideas, your goals, everything. Be a better person for yourself and for everybody.
Absolutely. And these things will help you dramatically once you are in pharmacy school. And we cannot absolutely not stress that enough. Again, we hope that these tips helped you guys out today. And again, bigger than any of these three issues, the number one thing to realize is that there is not a one-way-fits-all method to succeeding in pharmacy school. Us four guys right here are living proof of this. We all have very different backgrounds, very different experience in our life, and we are all in the exact same shoes right now in pharmacy school, and we are all succeeding as a team together. So continue to work hard on your path and find what works for you, and you will succeed in pharmacy school. Absolutely. We thank you guys so much for listening. We hope this reaches any prospective students. We hope you took our advice in the right way. We hope that you guys learned a lot from this podcast. We are going to link our info below if you ever want to contact us. Please do not hesitate to reach out. We would love to talk to you guys and help you out along your path. And we also will wish you the best of luck in your career and your journey in pharmacy school. And we will see you guys next time. I've been Clark Sasek.
I'm Father Pulver. I'm G Money, and don't you forget it.
And I'm Brock Vines.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We will see you next time on
Thank you, students, for hosting the podcast today, and thank you, listeners, for joining us. Please share this episode with your friends and your social media outlets, and seek out the other Dose of Knowledge podcasts on the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast page that can be found on your favorite podcast channel.